Hello dear students, welcome to IAS Viewpoint, the point of success. Now let us discuss Indian Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. Beautiful preamble, a wonderful preamble, the essence of the Constitution portrayed in this preamble. What are the essential elements of the preamble? There are four essential elements. The first one, the source of authority of the Constitution. From where does this Constitution derive the power? Where does this Constitution derive the source of authority? It is not from British, it is not from any other international organization, it is from we, the people of India. From the people of India, the authority is derived. What is the nature of the Constitution? Nature of the Indian state to be followed as expressed in the preamble. It is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. Preamble expresses how the state needs to carry out herself. And we will see every word in detail. What are the supreme goals, objectives of the Constitution? It is justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Part 4. When is this Constitution going to come into force? It comes into force on 26th November 1949. Remember, we have two dates for the enforcement of the Constitution. The first one was 26 November 1949 when it was ready, and our constitutional framers had significance attached to 26 January. Hence, we wanted to enforce the Constitution from 26 January. However, there are certain articles which commence from 26 November 1949. What are those articles? Those articles are given in Article 394 of the Constitution. 394 of the Constitution says Articles 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 324, 366, 367, 379, 380, 391, 392 and 393 plus 394. All these articles come into force from 26 November 1949. The remaining part of the Constitution comes into force from 26 January 1950. Sovereign. What do you understand by the term sovereign? It is said that the word sovereign was borrowed from Article 5 of the Irish Constitution. It is the opinion of D.D. Bosse, and we can see that in Article 5 of Irish Constitution we find the definition of sovereignty and the expression of sovereignty. Thomas M. Cooley, the American jurist, says supreme and absolute power acknowledging no superior. When do we say that it enjoys sovereignty? We say that if it is supreme and if it enjoys absolute power, we can say that country is sovereign. And it should have the independent authority. It should not derive authority from any other external source. See, authority from the people is okay, but authority from another country, authority from another international organization, no. it has got its own independent authority. Then only we can call a country as sovereign country. It has power to make laws and power to enforce the same. It has power to acquire foreign territory. It has power to cede. It has power to give away its own territory when the situation requires. India is independent. India has power to acquire and power to cede, but subject to certain conditions given in the constitution. It should control the states within the country. It should control the territories. And all these features are there in India. Our country is sovereign as expressed in the preamble, and we have every right to be a member of an international organization or not to be a member of international organization. These are the features attributed to sovereign, and this is the kind of sovereignty which India enjoys as expressed in the preamble. In fact, in a book called Sovereignty, Organized Hypocrisy by Stephen D. Krasner, he divides or classifies sovereignty into 4 types. Domestic sovereignty. What does it mean? It is the ability of the state to control domestic affairs. What is happening within the country. And another type of sovereignty is interdependence sovereignty, which means ability to control cross-border issues, whether it is terrorism or whatever. If there are some issues across the borders, it has got ability to deal with them. And then international legal sovereignty. Internationally, this country is recognized as a sovereign country. And the last one, Westphalian sovereignty. It is a kind of negative right where non-interference in domestic affairs by external actors. We don't want anybody, whether it is the United States of America or the British or the Australia, we don't want anyone to interfere in our governance. If these features are followed by a country, Stephen D. Krasner says it is sovereign. And in fact, if we observe the preamble intended this kind of sovereignty. If you go through the discussions of Constituent Assembly, the debates of the Constituent Assembly, we can clearly understand our preamble wanted a sovereign country which is domestically sovereign, enjoying Westphalian sovereignty, international legal recognition, and all the other features. A socialist, another word given in preamble is socialist, which this was not originally in the preamble. It was added to the preamble through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1976. In fact, these elements were already existing in the Constitution. There was an implicit presence of these socialistic ideals expressed in the Constitution through directive principles of state policy. Only after 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, explicitly these ideals, the ideal of socialism was expressed. What is the kind of socialism which we follow? Indian socialism is democratic socialism. What does it mean? Democratic socialism is faith in mixed economy. In fact, if you observe 60th Indian National Congress session, which was held in Avadi, Chennai, Madras in 1955, it has adopted a resolution to establish socialistic pattern of a society, social ownership of principal means of production, equitable distribution of national wealth. All these elements are the elements of socialism, a unique socialism, a socialism of democratic socialism. What do we understand really by democratic socialism? It's a political philosophy supporting political democracy within a socially owned economy. The economy and the society should be run democratically to meet public needs. It is not just the society which should run based on the principles of democracy. It is even the economy, it's even the trade, it's even the relations between the trade and commerce, which have to be run based on the democratic principles. Then only we can call that as democratic socialism. Democracy and socialism go hand in hand. Both exist. There are some scholars who say democracy and socialism cannot go together. No, we have a different, a unique type of democratic socialism where both of them go together. It is not a kind of socialism where we find in More's utopian socialism. It consists of a kind of a Christian socialism or communism and Platonism. Christianity has followed some kind of communism where like a life of a monastery where everything is shared by community and all the members of the community work hard for the food, work hard for their clothing and shelter, and is commonly shared by that community. It is not that kind of socialism we are following. It's not Platonism where he says in his Republica that everything has to be shared, including the spouses and children. We don't follow that kind of socialism. We don't follow Marxian or Chinese communism or Marxism or anarcho-communism. What does it mean? Anarcho-communism states religion, capitalism, and the state are oppressors of the individuals. They should be kicked out. Religion should be kicked out. Capitalism should be suppressed, and the state should be suppressed. Ours is not this kind of socialism or communism, and we don't follow Fabian socialism. Some say we follow some kind of Fabian socialism, and I don't think it is true. What is Fabian socialism? Social control of property through an effective and impartial administered state. That means basically an enlightened group of people, experts, forming the government and controlling the ownership of the public means. We don't follow Fabian socialism. Sargent had given few characteristics of democratic socialism. In fact, we follow this sort of socialism. He says, much property held by the public through a democratically elected government, including most major industries, utilities, and transportation systems. That means all the important means of production which are required for the basic living of the public are to be owned by the public. A limit on the accumulation of private property. It shouldn't be 1% enjoying 99% of the wealth and 99% enjoying or surviving on 1% of the wealth or resources. The government regulation of the economy. A situation comes, a government needs to step in and control the economy, regulate the economy. It should not completely throw it in the air for the market itself. Extensive publicly financed assistance and pension programs. There should be a number of social welfare programs with an intention, with an aim for the betterment of the human being. And social costs and the provisions of the services added to purely financial considerations as a measure of efficiency. And they should not concentrate too much on social costs. It's only for some kind of calculations they should be used. These are the features of democratic socialism according to Lyman Tower Sargent. India follows this kind of democratic socialism as expressed in Preamble. What the Supreme Court had to say about democratic socialism. In D.S. Nakara and others versus Union of India 1983 case, Supreme Court states that Indian socialism is a blend of Marxism and Gandhism. It is a blend, a splendid blend of Gandhi and Marx. However, there is a tilt towards Gandhian socialism. It is more inclined to Gandhism rather than Marxism. It is a splendid blend, a combination, but weighing more of Gandhi. In another case, G.B. Pant, University of Agriculture and Technology versus State of UP in 2000 says democratic socialism aims to end poverty, ignorance, disease and inequality of opportunities. Wonderfully put by the Supreme Court. It should end poverty, ignorance, disease, inequality. This is the kind of socialism which we have been evolving into. We can definitely see from the judgments and the statements from the Supreme Court based on these two judgments. Another term in the preamble is secular. Secular means not being religious. Person by name George Holyoake, an agnostic. Agnostic is a person who is neither theist nor atheist. For him, the world of God and religion do not exist, and he is least bothered about that. He used the term secular for the first time. Why did he use? He wanted to describe his views of promoting a social order separate from religion without actively dismissing or promoting that. He did not want to touch upon the aspect of religion. However, he wanted to promote his ideas of social order. Hence, he used the word called secularism. Based on the attitude of the countries towards the religion and religious matters, nations can be classified into three types: atheistic state, theocratic state, secular state. Atheistic state, it's anti-religion. It condemns the religion. It doesn't support the religion. Theocratic state, it declares the state religion. For us, this religion would be the state religion, and various importances attributed to that particular religion, various privileges given to that particular religion. Secular state. Secular state is a state which is neutral in matters of religion. Our country is a secular country where it is neutral in matters of religion. It was added through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, right? And before addition, before 1976, the idea of secular state, the idea of secularism was reflected through fundamental rights, right to freedom of religion, expressed or given in Articles 25, 26, 27 and 28. These four articles speak about freedom of religion. We do not have any state religion, and the relationship between the state and the religion is determined by the laws and the Constitution. We follow the positive concept of religions. All religions are equal, treating all religions equally. We don't condemn the religion. We don't reject the religion. We don't declare a state religion. We treat all religions equally. This is the kind of a positive secularism which we follow according to the preamble. Manifestation of secularism according to Phil Zuckerman, a sociologist, a scholar on secular aspects or secularism. He says three types of secularisms can be seen. One is political secularism. What does it mean? Civic life free from religious domination. If that country is politically secular, there is no daily life getting affected by the religious domination. Government out of the business of religion, and religion out of the business of government. There are two clear, distinct ways. There are business of the government, the business of the religion. Mutually exclusive. They are not interconnected. No, mutually separate. One is here and the other is there. Right? And another type of secularism, philosophical secularism. Here he goes to an extreme of saying it's a body of thought, writing and activism which seeks to critique a religion. That means if people follow this kind of secularism, they start criticizing whatever may be the religion. If it is irrational, they outrightly criticize, debunk, and challenge the clerics, the priests, the religious authorities, and say, this is not correct, this is irrational, this doesn't apply to my stances, or this do not have proofs. All sorts of rebuttals take place. That kind of freedom exists. We don't follow philosophical secularism. We have, to a certain extent, political secularism, where state and religion follow, or they are mutually different, right? And socio-cultural secularism, we'll see whether we have that or not. The weakening or diminishing of religion in society in day-to-day life. Let's say the less of Bible, Gita, Quran. If people are religious, they read a lot of scriptures, whether it is Gita, Bible, or Quran. They go to temples, churches, mass. They follow the guidelines of the priests, religious clergy, and try and do. If it is socio-cultural secularism, they will have the freedom, and no, slowly it gets diminished. People don't go to church on Sundays, to mass on Fridays, or temples on the important days required to go. That is the situation where socio-cultural secularism exists. And I don't know whether we have this kind of secularism. This is the opinion of Zuckerman, one of the scholars on secularism. Please subscribe to our channel so that you may get the updates. If you really like our video, please press like icon. We are open to the constructive feedback at iasviewpoint@gmail.com. Please do share this video to the most needy people. Thank you.